Hello friends, welcome to i-TUTOR NCERT series. Today we are going to discuss Plus 2 Geography NCERT India, People and Economy Chapter 3 Land Resources and Agriculture. You must have observed that the land around you is put to different uses. Some land is occupied by rivers, some may have trees, and on some parts roads and buildings have been built. So different types of lands are suited to different uses. Human beings thus use land as a resource for production as well as residence and recreation. Thus, the building of your school, roads on which you travel, parks in which you play, fields in which crops are grown, and the pastures where animals graze represent different uses to which land is put. Okay, so here we can see some of the uses or different types of lands and different uses of lands. Okay, now land use categories. Land use records are maintained by the Land Revenue Department. Okay, so the land use records, they are maintained by the Land Revenue Department. The land use categories add up to a reporting area, which is somewhat different from the geographical area. Okay, so this is add up to reporting area, so that is different from the geographical area. The Survey of India is responsible for measuring geographical area of administrative units in India. Okay, so the Survey of India, that is responsible for measuring geographical area of administrative units in India. Now, forest. It is important to note that area under actual forest cover is different from area classified as forest. The latter is the area which government has identified and demarcated for forest growth. The land revenue records are consistent with the latter definition. Thus, there may be an increase in this category without any increase in the actual forest cover. Okay, so the actual forest cover, okay, that is different from the area classified as forest. Okay, so they have difference, okay, between the actual forest cover and the area classified as forest. Now, barren and wastelands. The land which may be classified as a wasteland, such as barren hilly terrains, desert lands, ravines, etc., normally cannot be brought under cultivation with the available technology. Okay, so these places or this land that cannot be cultivated or that cannot be brought under the cultivation with the available technology. Now, land put to non-agriculture uses. Land under settlements, that is rural and urban, then infrastructure including roads, canals, etc., then industries, shops, etc., are included in this category. Okay, so that is included in the land under that is included in the non-agriculture uses, land put in non-agriculture uses. An expansion in the secondary and tertiary activities would lead to an increase in this category of land use. Now, area under permanent pastures and grazing lands. Most of this type land is owned by the village panchayat or the government. Only small portion of this land is privately owned. The land owned by the village panchayat comes under common property resources. Okay, so the land owned by the village panchayat. Okay, so this land came under the common property resources. Area under miscellaneous tree crops and grower. The land under orchards and fruit trees are included in this category. Much of this land is privately owned. Okay, so much of this lands, that is the area under miscellaneous trees, crops and grower. So much of this land is privately owned. Now, cultivable wasteland. Any land which is left fallow, that is uncultivated, for more than 5 years is included in this category. Okay, so any land which is left fallow, which is left uncultivated for more than 5 years, so that they were included in this category, that is cultivable wasteland. It can be brought under cultivation after improving it through reclamation practices. Okay, so it can be brought under the cultivation. Okay, so this can be also brought under the cultivation after improving it through reclamation practices. Now, current fallow. This is the land which is left without cultivation for one or less than one agriculture year. Following is a cultural practice adopted for giving the land rest. The land recoups the lost fertility through natural process. So here the land recoups the lost fertility through some natural processes. Okay, so that is current fallow. Now, fallow other than current fallow. This is also a cultivable land which is left uncultivated for more than a year but less than 5 years. Okay, so here more than 1 year and less than 5 years. If the land is left uncultivated for more than 5 years, it would be categorized as cultivable wasteland. Okay, so if the land is left uncultivated for more than 5 years, then it can be categorized as cultivable wasteland. Now, net area zone. The physical extent of land on which crops are sown and harvested is known as net zone area. Okay, so the physical extent of land on which crops are sown and harvested, and this is known as net zone area. Now, land use changes in India. Land use in a region to a large extent is influenced by the nature of economic activities carried out in that region. Okay, so it is influenced by the nature of economic activities carried out in that region. However, while economic activities change over time, land, like many other natural resources, is fixed in terms of area. Okay, so if the economic activities change over time, still the land and other things, okay, other natural resources are fixed in terms of its area. Now, at this stage, one needs to appreciate three types of changes that an economy undergoes which affect land uses. The size of the economy measured in terms of value for all the goods and services produced in the economy, then it grows over time. As a result, increasing population, change in income levels, available technology and associated factors. As a result, the pressure on land will increase. Okay, so as a result, what happened? The pressure on the land, it will increase with time and marginal lands would come under use. Now, secondly, the composition of the economy would undergo a change over time. In other words, the secondary and the tertiary sectors usually grow much faster than the primary sector, specifically the agriculture sector. This type of change is common in developing countries like India. So this types of change that's common in the developing countries, especially like India. This process would result in a gradual shift of land from agriculture users to non-agriculture users. Such changes are sharp around large urban areas. The agricultural land is being used for building purposes. Now, thirdly, though the contribution of the agricultural activities reduces over time, the pressure on land for agricultural activities does not decline. Okay, so the pressure on land for agricultural activities, it does not decline. The reasons for continued pressure on agricultural lands are, so this now let's discuss some of the reasons for the continued pressure on agricultural land. First one, in developing countries, the share of population dependent on agriculture usually declines much more slowly compared to the decline in the sector's share in GDP. Now, the number of people that the agriculture sector has to feed is increased day by day. Okay, so the number of people increasing. We know India is the most populous country today. Now, There are 2 points that you need to remember before you derive some meanings from this figure. Okay, look at this figure. This is the change in shares of land use categories in India 1950-51 to 2019-20. Firstly, the percentage shown in the figure have been derived with respect to the reporting area. Secondly, since even the reporting area has been relatively constant over the years, a decline in one category usually leads to an increase in some other category. Okay, so a decline in one category. Okay, it can affect or it can lead or it can increase in some other category. Okay. Now, India has undergone major changes within the economy over the past 4 or 5 decades, and this has influenced the land use changes in the country. And these changes between 1950 to 51 and 2019 20 have been shown. 5 categories have undergone increases while 4 have registered declines. Share of area under forest, area under non-agriculture uses, current fallow lands and net area zone have shown an increase. Okay, the following observations can be made about these increases. First one, the rate of increase is highest in case of area under non-agriculture uses. Okay, so the rate of increase is the highest in case of the area under non-agriculture uses. This is due to the changing structure of Indian economy, which is increasingly dependent on the contribution from industrial and service sector. Okay, so it mainly depends on the industrial and service sector and expansion of related infrastructure facilities. Also, an expansion of area under both urban and rural settlements has added to the increase. Thus, the area under non-agriculture uses is increasing at the expense of wastelands and agricultural lands. Now, second one is the increase in the share under forest, as explained before, can be accounted for by increase in the demarcated area under forest rather than an actual increase in the forest cover in the country. Now, third one is the increase in the current fallow cannot be explained from information pertaining to only 2 points. Okay, so the increase in the current fallow, it cannot be explained from the information pertaining to only 2 points. The thread of current fallow fluctuates. The trend of current fallow fluctuates a great deal over years depending on the variability of rainfall and cropping cycle. Now, fourth one is the increase in the net area zone is a recent phenomenon due to use of cultivable wasteland for agriculture purposes, before which it was registered a slow decrease. There are indications that most of the decline had occurred due to the increase in areas under non-agriculture use. The increase in net area zone is a recent phenomenon due to use of cultivable wasteland for agriculture purpose, before which is registered a slow decrease. There are indications that most of the decline has occurred due to the increased areas under non-agriculture use. Okay. Now, the following explanations can be given for the declining trends. First one, as pressure on land increased both from the agriculture and non-agriculture sectors, the wastelands and cultivable wastelands have witnessed decline over time. Okay. Now, the decline in land under tree crops and groves can be explained by pressure from agricultural land. Okay, so there some of the explanations can be given for the declining trends. Next one, common property resources. Land according to its ownership can be broadly classified under two broad heads, private and common property resources. While the former is owned by an individual or a group of individuals. The latter is owned by the state mean for the use of the community. CPRs provide fodder for the livestock and fuel for the households along with other minor forest products like fruits, nuts, fiber, medicinal plants, etc. In rural areas, such land is of particular relevance for the livelihood of the landless and marginal farmers and other weaker sections, since many of them depend on income from their livestock due to the fact that they have limited access to land. CPRs also are important for women as most of the fodder and fuel collections is done by them in rural areas. They have to devote long hours in collection, fuel and fodder from a gathering area of CPR. CPRs can be defined as a community's natural resources where every member has the right of access the usage with specified obligations without anybody having property rights over them. Community forests, pastures, lands, village water bodies, and other public service spaces. Okay. Where a group larger than a household or family unit exercises the rights of use and carries responsibility of management are example of CPRs. Okay, so these are some of the example of CPRs. Okay, what are they? Group of larger than a household or family unit exercise rights of use and carries responsibility of management and example of a CPR. Okay. Now, agricultural land use in India. Land resources is more crucial to the livelihood of the people depending on agriculture. Agriculture is a purely land-based activity. Okay, so we know agriculture is a purely land-based activity, unlike secondary and tertiary activities. In other words, contribution of land in agriculture output is more compared to its contribution in the outputs in the other sectors. Thus, lack of access to land is directly correlated with the incidence of poverty in rural areas. Quality of land has a direct bearing on the productivity of agriculture, which is not true for other activities. Okay, so the quality of land which has a direct bearing on the productivity of agriculture, but it is not true on other activities, that is secondary and tertiary activities. And in rural areas, aside from its value as a productive factor, land ownership has a social value and serves as a security for credit, natural hazards or life contingencies, and also adds to the social status. Now, an estimation of the total stock of agricultural land resources, that is total cultivable land, can be arrived by adding up net sown area, all fallow lands and cultivable wasteland. It may be observed from that over the years there has been a marginal decline in the available total stock of cultivable lands as a percentage to total reporting areas. Now, there has been a greater decline of cultivated land. Okay, greater decline of cultivated land in spite of a corresponding decline of cultivable wasteland. It is clear from the above discussion that the scope for bringing in additional land under net sown area in India is limited. There is thus an urgent need to evolve and adopt land saving technologies. Such technologies can be classified under two heads: those which raise the yield of any particular crop per unit area of land, and those which increase the total output. Okay, those which raise the yield of any particular crop per unit area of land, and those which increase the total output per unit area of land from all crops grown over one agriculture year by increasing land use intensity. The advantage of the latter kind of technology is that along with increasing output from limited land, it also increases the demand for labor significantly. For a land scarce but labor abundant country like India, a high cropping intensity is desirable not only for fuller utilization of land resources, but also for reducing unemployment in the rural economy. Now, the cropping intensity, that is CI, is calculated as follows. The cropping intensity percentage, that is CI percentage, is equal to GNA into 100 by NSA. Okay, so that is the cropping intensity calculation. Now, cropping seasons in India. Look at this. There are mainly 3 cropping seasons. First one is Kharif. Okay, so Kharif. Second one Rabi. And finally Zaid. So Kharif is mainly from June, July, August, September. Next one, Rabi is from next month, October, November, December, January, February, March. Okay, so October to March. Next one is Zaid, that is from the April, May, June. So April to June. Now, major crops, that is in North India, the Kharif crops are mainly rice, cotton, bajra, maize, jowar, tur. In southern states, rice, maize, ragi, jowar, groundnut. Next one is Rabi, that is October to March. And northern states, wheat, gram, seeds, and mustard, barley. Then here, rice, maize, ragi, groundnut, jowar. Next one is Zaid, that is April to June. Vegetables, fruits, fodders. Here, rice, vegetables, fodders. Okay, so that is the these are the main 3 seasons in or cropping seasons in India: Kharif, Rabi, Zaid. There are 3 distinct crop seasons in the northern and Indian parts of the country, namely Kharif, Rabi, and Zaid. So we already discussed that. The Kharif season largely commenced with the southwest monsoon, under which the cultivation of tropical crops such as rice, cotton, jute, jowar, bajra, and tur is possible. Now, the Rabi season begins with the onset of winter in October, November, and ends in March, April. The low temperature conditions during this season facilitate the cultivation of temperate and subtropical crops such as wheat, gram, and mustard. Zaid is a short duration summer cropping season beginning after harvesting of Rabi crops. The cultivation of watermelons, cucumbers, vegetables, and fodder crops during this season is done on irrigated lands. However, this type of distinction in the cropping season does not exist in the southern parts of the country. Here, the temperature is high enough to grow tropical crops. Now, during any period in the year, provided the soil moisture is available. There, in this region, same crops can be grown thrice in an agriculture year provided there is sufficient soil moisture. Now, types of farming. What are the types of farming? On the basis of main source of moisture for crops, the farming can be classified as irrigated and rain-fed. There is a difference in the nature of irrigation and farming, as well as based on the objective of irrigation, that is protective or productive. The objective of protective irrigation is to protect the crops from adverse effect of moisture deficiency, which often means that irrigation acts as a supplementary source of water over and above the rainfall. The strategy of this kind of irrigation is to provide soil moisture to maximum possible areas. Productive irrigation is meant to provide sufficient soil moisture in the cropping season to achieve high productivity. Okay, so what is productive irrigation means? Okay, so here it provides sufficient soil moisture in the cropping season to achieve high productivity. In such irrigation, the water inputs per unit area of cultivated land is higher than the productive irrigation. Rainfed farming is further classified on the basis of adequacy of soil moisturing during cropping season into dryland and wetland farming. In India, the dryland farming is largely confined to the regions having annual rain belts less than 75 cm, etc. These regions grow hardy and drought-resistant crops such as ragi, bajra, moong, gram, and gaur. Okay, gaur is a fodder crop. And practice various measures of soil moisture conservation and rainwater harvesting. In wetland farming, the rainfall is an excess of soil moisture requirement of plants during the rainy season. Such regions may face flood and soil erosion hazards. So these are grown with water intensive crops such as rice, jute and sugarcane and practices aquaculture in the fresh water bodies. Okay. Next one is food grains. Food grains. The importance of food grains in Indian agriculture economy may be gauged from the fact these crops occupy about two-thirds of total cropped area in the country. Food grains are dominant crops in all parts of the country where they have subsistence or commercial agriculture economy. Okay, subsistence or commercial agriculture economy. On the basis of the structure of grains and the food grains are classified as cereals and pulses. Okay, so on the basis of structure of grain, the food grains are classified as cereals and pulses. First one, cereals. The cereals occupy 54% of total cropped area in India. The country produces about 11% cereals of the world and ranks third in production after China and USA. Okay, so India is the third largest country which produces cereals. Okay, first one is China, then USA, and third one is India. India produces a variety of cereals which are classified as fine grains, that is rice, wheat, and coarse grains, that is jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, etc. Account of important cereals has been given in the following paragraphs. Now, rice. Rice is a staple food for the overwhelming majority of population in India. Though it is considered to be a crop of tropical humid areas, it has many varieties which are grown in different agroclimatic regions. These are successfully grown from sea level to about 2000 meter altitude from humid areas in eastern India to dry but irrigated areas of Punjab, Haryana, western UP and northern Rajasthan. In southern states and West Bengal, the climatic conditions allow the cultivation of 2 or 3 crops of rice in an agriculture year. The West Bengal farmers grow 3 crops of rice called Os, Aman and Boro. But in Himalayas and northwestern parts of the country, it is grown as a kharif crop during southwest monsoon season. Okay. Now, India contributes 22.07% of rice production in the world and ranked second after China in 2018. About 1/4 of the total cropped area in the country is under rice cultivation. Okay, now West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab are the leading rice producing states in the country. Okay. West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. The yield level of rice is high in Punjab, then Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, West Bengal and Kerala. The first four of these states, almost the entire land under the rice cultivation is irrigated. Punjab and Haryana are not traditional rice growing areas. Rice cultivation in the in the irrigated areas of Punjab and Haryana was introduced in 1970s following the Green Revolution. Generally, improved varieties of seeds, relatively high usage of fertilizers and pesticides, and lower levels of susceptibility of the crop to pest due to dry climatic conditions are responsible for higher yield of rice in this region. The yield of the crop is very low in rain-fed areas of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha. Next one is wheat. The second most important cereal crops in India after rice. India produces about 12.8%. Now, as in 2017, it's primarily a crop of temperate zone. Here, its cultivation in India is done during winter, that is Rabi season. About 85% of total area under this crop is concentrated in north and central regions of the country, that Indo-Gangetic plains. Next one. That is Indo-Gangetic plains, then Malwa Plateau and Himalayas up to 2700 meter altitude. Being a rabi crop, it is mostly grown under irrigated conditions, but it is a rain-fed crop in Himalayan highlands and parts of Malwa Plateau in the Madhya Pradesh. About 14% of the total cropped area in this country is under wheat cultivation. Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan are leading wheat producer states. The yield level of the wheat is very high, that is about 4,000 kg per hectare in Punjab and Haryana, whereas Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Bihar have moderate yield. The states like Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir growing wheat under rain-fed conditions have low yield. Now next one is jowar. Okay. Sorry. The coarse cereals together occupy about 16.50% of the total cropped area in the country. Among these, jowar or sorghum alone accounts for about 5.3% of total cropped area. It is main food crop in semi-arid areas of central and southern India. Maharashtra alone produces more than half of the total jowar production of the country. Other leading producer states of jowar are Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. It's sown in both Kharif and Rabi seasons in southern states. But it is a Kharif crops in northern India, where it is mostly grown as fodder crops. South of India, it is a rain-fed crop and its yield level is very low in this region. So that's about the jowar. Now bajra. Bajra is sown in hot and dry climatic conditions in northwestern and western parts of the country. It is a hardy crop which resists frequent dry spells and drought in this region. It is cultivated alone as well as part of mixed cropping. This coarse cereal occupies about 5.2% of total cropped area in the country. Leading producers of bajra are the states of Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. Yield of this crop has increased during recent years in Rajasthan, Haryana and Gujarat due to introduction of drought-resistant varieties and expansion of irrigation under it. Okay. Next one is maize. Maize is a food as well as fodder crop grown under semi-arid climatic conditions over inferior soil. Okay, so it's a food as well as fodder crop. This crop occupies only about 3.6% of the total cropped area. Maize cultivation is not concentrated in any specific region. It is sown all over the India except Punjab and eastern and northeastern region. The leading producers of maize are the states of Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Yield level of maize is higher than other coast genres. It is high in southern states and declines towards central parts. Next one, pulses. Pulses are very important ingredient of vegetarian food as these are rich resources of proteins. These are legume crops which increase the natural fertility of soil through nitrogen fixation. Okay, so these are leguminous plants. India is a leading producer of pulses in the world. The cultivation of pulses in the country is largely concentrated in the drylands of Deccan and the central plateaus and northwestern parts of the country. Pulses occupy about 11% of the total cropped area in the country. Being the rain-fed crops of drylands, the yield of pulses are low and fluctuate from year to year. Gram and thur are the main pulses cultivated in India. Sorry. So next one is gram. Gram is cultivated in subtropical areas. It is mostly a rain-fed crop cultivated during rabi seasons in central, western and northwestern parts of the country. Just one or two light showers or irrigation are required to grow this crop successfully. It has been displaced from the cropping patterns by wheat in Haryana, Punjab and northern Rajasthan following the Green Revolution. At present, gram covers only 2.8% of the total cropped area in the country. Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Rajasthan are the main producers of these pulse crops. The yield of this crop continues to be low and fluctuates from year to year, even in irrigated areas. Now, thur or arhar. Thur is the second important pulse crops in the country. It's also known as red gram or pigeon pea. It is cultivated over marginal lands and under rain-fed conditions in the dry areas of central and southern states of the country. This crop occupies only about 2% of total cropped area of India. Now, Maharashtra alone contributes about 1/3 of the total production of thur. Okay, so the Maharashtra contributes 1/3 of one-third of the total production of thur. Other leading producer states are Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Per hectare output of this crop is very low as its performance is inconsistent. Now oilseed. Oilseeds are produced for extracting edible oil. Drylands of Malwa Plateau, Marathwada, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Telangana, Rayalaseema regions of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka Plateau are oilseeds growing in these regions. These crops together occupy about 14% of total cropped areas in the country. Now, groundnut, rapeseed and mustard, soybean and sunflower are the main oilseed crops down in India. Now, groundnut. India produces about 18.8% of the total groundnut production in the world. That is, it's a 2018 data. Now, it is largely a rain-fed kharif crop of drylands. But in southern India, it is cultivated during rabi season as well. It covers about 3.6% of total cropped area in the country. Gujarat, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Maharashtra are the leading producers. Yield of groundnut is comparatively high in Tamil Nadu, where it is primarily irrigated, but its yield is low in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Now, rapeseed and mustard. Rapeseed and mustard comprises several oilseeds as rye, sarsen, toria and taramia. These are subtropical crops cultivated during rabi seasons in northwestern and central parts of India. So they are rye, sarsen, toria and Taravera. These are frost-sensitive crops and their yield fluctuates from year to year. But with the expansion of irrigation and improvement in seed technology, their yields have improved and improved and stabilized to some extent. About two-thirds of the cultivated land under these crops is irrigated. These oil together occupy only about 2.5% of total crop area in the country. Rajasthan contributes about one-third production, while other leading producers are Haryana and Madhya Pradesh. Yield of these crops are completely high in Haryana and Rajasthan. Okay. Now, other oil seeds. Soybean and sunflower are other important oil seeds. Okay, soybean and sunflower. Soybean is mostly grown in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. These two states together produce about 90% of the total output of soybean in the country. Now, sunflower cultivation is concentrated in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and adjoining areas of Maharashtra. It is a minor crop in northern parts of the country where its yield is high due to irrigation. Now, fiber crops. These crops provide us as fibers for preparing cloth, sacks and number of other items. Okay. Cotton and jute are two main fiber crops grown in India. Cotton and jute. Now, cotton. Cotton is a tropical crop grown in Kharif season in semi-arid regions or semi-arid areas of the country. It's a Kharif season. India lost a large proportion of cotton growing area to Pakistan during the partition. However, it is acreage that has increased considerably during the last 50 years. India has grown both short staple, that is Indian cotton, as well as long staple, that is American cotton called Narma, in northwestern parts of the country. Cotton requires clear sky flowering stage. Now, India ranks second in the world in the production of cotton after China. Cotton occupies about 4.7% of the total cropped area in the country. There are three cotton growing areas, that is, first one, parts of Punjab, Haryana and northern Rajasthan. Okay, northwest, then Gujarat and Maharashtra. In the west and plateaus of Andhra Pradesh, then Karnataka and Tamil Nadu in south. Now, leading producers of this crop are Gujarat, Maharashtra and Telangana. Per hectare, output of cotton is high under irrigated conditions. In northwestern regions of the country, varied is very low in Maharashtra, where it is grown under rainfed conditions. Now, jute. Jute is used for making coarse clothes, bags, sacks, decorative items. It's a cash crop in West Bengal and adjoining eastern parts of the country. India lost large jute growing areas to East Pakistan, this is Bangladesh, during partition. At present, India produces about 3/5 of jute production of the world. West Bengal accounts for about 3/4 of the production in the country. Bihar and Assam are other jute growing areas, being concentrated only in a few states. This crop accounts for only about 0.5% of the total cropped area in the country. Okay, sugarcane. Sugarcane is a crop of tropical areas. Under rainfed conditions, it is cultivated in subhumid and humid climates. Okay, but it is largely an irrigated crop in India. In Indo-Gangetic plains, its cultivation is largely concentrated in Uttar Pradesh. Sugarcane growing areas in western India is spread over Maharashtra and Gujarat. In southern India, it is cultivated in irrigated tracts of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now, India was the second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil in 2018. So India was the second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil in 2018. It accounts for about 19.7% of the world's production of sugarcane, but it occupies only 2.4% of total cropped area in the country. Uttar Pradesh produces about two-fifths of the sugarcane of the country. Okay, so UP produces about two-fifths of the sugarcane of country. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh are other leading producers of this crop, where yield level of sugarcane is high. Its yield is low in northern India. Now, tea. Tea is a plantation crop used as beverage. Black tea leaves are fermented, whereas green tea leaves are unfermented. Tea leaves have a rich content of caffeine and tannin. It is an indigenous crop of hills in northern China. It is grown over undulating topography of hilly areas and well-drained soils in humid and humid tropics and subtropics. In India, tea plantations started in 1840s in Brahmaputra Valley of Assam, which still is a major tea growing area in the country. Later on, its plantation was introduced in the sub-Himalayan regions of West Bengal, that is Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri, and Cooch Behar districts. Tea is also cultivated on the lower slopes of Nilgiri and Cardamom Hills in Western Ghats. India is a leading producer of tea and account for about 21.22% of the total production in the world in 2018. India's share in the international market of tea has declined substantially. It ranks second amongst tea exporting countries in the world after China. Assam accounts for about 53.2% of the total cropped areas and contributes more than half of total production of tea in the country. West Bengal and Tamil Nadu are other leading producers of tea. Next one is coffee. Like tea, coffee is a tropical plantation crop. Its seeds are roasted, ground, and used for preparing a beverage. It's also a beverage crop. There are three varieties of coffee: Arabica, Robusta, and Liberica. India mostly grows superior quality coffee, Arabica, which is in great demand in the international market. But India produces only about 3.17% coffee of the world and ranks 8th after Brazil, Vietnam, Indonesia, Colombia, Honduras, Ethiopia, and Peru in 2018. Coffee is cultivated in the highlands of Western Ghats in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka alone accounts for more than two-thirds of total production of coffee in the country. Now, agriculture development in India. Indian agriculture economy was largely subsistence in nature before independence. It had dismal performance in the first half of 20th century. This period witnessed severe droughts and famines. During partition, about one-third of the irrigated land in undivided India went to Pakistan. This reduced the proportion of irrigated areas in independent India. After independence, the immediate goal of the government was to increase food grains production by switching over from cash crops to food crops. Second one, intensification of cropping over already cultivated land. And third one, increasing cultivated area by bringing cultivable and fallow land under plough. Initially, this strategy helped in increasing food grain production, but agriculture production stagnated during late 1950s. To overcome this problem, Intensive Agriculture District Program, that is IADP, and Intensive Agriculture Area Program, IAAP, were launched. But two consecutive droughts during mid-1960s resulted in food crisis in the country. Consequently, food grains were imported from other countries. New seed varieties of new seed variety of wheat, that is from Mexico, and rice from Philippines, known as high yielding varieties, that is HYVs, were available for cultivation in mid 1960s. India took advantage of this and introduced package technology compromising HYV along with chemical fertilizers in irrigated areas of Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, Andhra Pradesh, and Gujarat. Assured supply of soil moisture through irrigation was a basic prerequisite for the success of this new agriculture technology. This strategy of agriculture development paid dividends instantly and increased the food grains production at a very fast rate. The spread of agriculture growth came to be known as Green Revolution. So this is known as the Green Revolution. This also gave fillip to the development of large number of agro inputs, agro processing industries and small scale industries. This strategy of agriculture development made the country self-reliant in food grains production. But Green Revolution was initially confined to irrigated areas only. This led to regional disparities in agriculture development in the country till 1970s, after which the technology spread to the eastern and central part of the country. Now, the Planning Commission of India focused its attention on the problems of agriculture in rainfed areas in 1980s. Sorry. Now, it initiated agroclimatic planning in 1988 to induce a regionally balanced agriculture development in the country. It also emphasized on the need for diversification of agriculture and harnessing of resource for the development of dairy farming, poultry, horticulture, livestock rearing and aquaculture. Initiation of the policy of liberalization and free market economy in 1990s influenced the course of development of Indian agriculture. Now, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, NMSA. NMSA is to make agriculture more productive, sustainable, remunerative, and climate resilient by promoting location-specific integrated or composite farming systems and to conserve natural conserve natural resources through appropriate soil and moisture conservation measures. The government has been promoting organic farming in the country through the schemes such as Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana PKVY and Rashtriya Vikas Yojana RKVY. Now, growth of agriculture output and technology. There has been a significant increase in agricultural output and improvement in technology during the last 50 years. Production and yield of many crops such as rice and wheat has increased at an impressive rate. Among the other crops, the production of sugarcane, oilseeds and cotton has also increased appreciably. Okay, so the sugarcane, oilseed and cotton, it has also increased appreciably. Expansion of irrigation has played a crucial role in enhancing agriculture output in the country. It provides basis for introduction of modern agriculture technologies such as high yielding varieties of seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and farm machinery. The net irrigated areas in the country has also increased. Modern agriculture technology has diffused very fast in various areas of the country. Consumption of chemical fertilizers has increased by 15 times since mid 60s. Since the high yield varieties are highly susceptible to pests and diseases, the use of pesticides has increased significantly since 1960s. Now, what are the problems of Indian agriculture? Nature of problems faced by Indian agriculture varies according to agroecological and historical experiences of its different regions. Hence, most of the agriculture problems in the country are region specific. Yet, there are some problems which are common and range from physical constraints to institutional hindrances. A detailed discussion on these problems are follows. So, it depends on erratic monsoon. Irrigation covers only 33% cultivated area in India. The crop production in rest of the cultivated land directly depends on rain. Okay, so if there is no rain, there is no crops. Sorry. Poor performance of southwest monsoon also adversely affect the supply of canal water for irrigation. On the other hand, the rainfall in Rajasthan and other drought-prone areas is too meagre and highly unreliable. Even the areas receiving high natural rainfall experiences considerable fluctuations. This makes them vulnerable to both droughts and flood. Drought is common phenomenon in the low rainfall areas, which may also experience occasional floods. The flash floods in the drylands of Maharashtra, Gujarat, and the Rajasthan in 2006 and 2017 are examples of the phenomenon. Droughts continue to be the twin menace in Indian agriculture. Next one is the low productivity. The yield of crops in country is low in comparison to the international level. Per hectare output of most of the crops such as rice, wheat, cotton and oilseeds in India is much lower than that of the USA, Russia and Japan. Okay, so it's much lower than USA, Russia and Japan. Because of the very high pressure on the land resources, the labor productivity in Indian agriculture is also very low in comparison to international level. The vast rain-fed areas of the country, particularly drylands, which mostly grow coarse cereals, pulses and oilseeds have no yield. Now, constraints of financial resources and indebtedness. The inputs of modern agriculture are very expensive. This resource intensive approach has become unmanageable for marginal and small farmers as they have very minimum or no savings to invest in agriculture. To tide over these difficulties, most of such farmers have resorted to availing credit from various institutions and money lenders. Crop failures and low return from the agriculture have forced them to fall in the trap of indebtedness. Now, lack of land reforms. Indian peasantry had been exploiting for a long time as there has been an equal distribution of land among the three revenue systems operational during British period, that is Mahalwari, Raitwari and Zamindari. The last one was most exploitative for the peasants. After independence, land reforms were accorded priority, but these reforms were not implemented effectively due to lack of strong political will. Most of the states' government avoided talking politically through decisions which went against strong political lobbies of landlords. Now, lack of implementation of land reforms has resulted in the continuation of inadequate distribution of cultivable land which is determined in agriculture development. Now, small farm size and fragmentation of land holdings. There are a large number of marginal and small farmers in the country. The average size of land holding is shrinking under increasing population pressure. Furthermore, in India, the land holdings are mostly fragmented. Now, there are some states where consolidation of holding has not been carried out even once. Even the states where it has been carried out once, second consolidation is required as land holding have fragmented again in the process of division of land among the owners of next generation. The small size fragmented land holdings are uneconomic. Now, lack of commercialization. A large number of farmers produces crops for self-consumption. These farmers do not have enough land resources to produce more than their requirement. Mostly of the small and marginal farmers grow food grains which are meant for their own family consumption. Modernization and commercialization of agriculture, however, taken place in the irrigated areas. Now, vast underemployment. There is a massive underemployment in the agriculture sector in India, particularly in the unirrigated tracts. In these areas, there is seasonal unemployment ranging from 4 to 8 months. Even in the cropping season, work is not available throughout as agriculture operations are not labor intensive. Hence, the people engaged in agriculture do not have the opportunity to work around the year. Next one is the degradation of cultivable land. One of the serious problems that arises out of faulty strategy of irrigation and agriculture development is a degradation of land resources. This is serious because it may lead to depletion of soil fertility. Okay, it can reduce the soil fertility. This situation is particularly alarming in irrigated areas. A large tract of agricultural land has lost its fertility due to the alkalization and salinization of soils and waterlogging. Now, excessive use of chemicals such as insecticides and pesticides have led to their concentration in toxic amounts in the soil profile. Leguminous crops have been displaced from the cropping pattern in the irrigated areas, and duration of fallow has substantially reduced, owing people to multiple cropping. This has this has obliterated the process of natural fertilization such as nitrogen fixation. Now, rainfed areas in humid and rainfed areas in humid and semi-humid areas. Okay, so the rainfed areas in humid and semi-arid tropics also experience a degradation of several types like soil erosion by water and wind erosion, which are often induced by human activities. Okay, now look again the rainfed areas. Okay, the rainfed areas in humid and semi-arid tropics also experience degradation of several types of soil erosion by water and wind erosion, which are often induced by human activities. Okay, so that's about the chapter. If you have any doubts, you can comment below. For more related contents, do like, share, subscribe.